pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and then we would have a moment of silent prayer. Okay, adoption of the agenda.
That's something new we're doing, Dan, you wanna?
So basically, if we have any additions or deletions to the agenda, staff will let the board know. Otherwise, it'll just be a motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay,
Motion to adopt.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Election of a secretary? Any comment on that?
Did not put a motion together for that.
Yeah, all we would need is a motion. Valencia is still employed at the county, but she works in the utilities department now. So right now, we're in the process of finding a new administrative assistant. Actually, I think we're doing interviews in the next couple weeks.
Yes.
So probably for now, it makes the most sense to elect Jason temporarily as secretary until administrative assistant. So it'd just be a motion.
Could a motion that, to that effect?
Motion that Jason be appointed secretary of the BZA board.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Minutes from the last meeting. See how many years they go?
Oh, well.
I move we approve as written.
Second.
Everybody agree?
Aye.
All right, now, we can get to the public hearing.
To open the public hearing?
Well, normally you would introduce the matter first, and then once you've finished your staff report, then the chair would open the public hearing.
All right, so this is BZA 2402, Clyde Nichols, made a request to the BZA for 75-foot variance to section 22-4-3E2 of the Savannah County Code to allow for the reduction of the minimum front setback from 125 feet to 50 feet, and a request for a 30-foot variance to section 22-4-3F of the Savannah County Code to allow for the reduction of the minimum side yard from 50 feet to 20 feet with respect to 3.4 acres of tax map 3, section 30, parcel 6, subject property zone to A1 agricultural general. It's located in the Zion Crossroads Community Planning Area and the Palmyra Election District. This aerial view of the property, as you can see, it's right near the intersection of 64 and Beaver Dam Road, even though there's not technically an intersection there. You can see that it's a long parcel, about 3.5 acres, and it's considered a corner lot because it's got frontage along two roads, private road, Ridgeway Farm Court and Beaver Dam Road. And it's required to meet the setbacks of both of those roads being a corner lot. Beaver Dam Road curves around and actually forms part of the southern boundary of the lot as well, which is leading to the restriction, the restricted use of this parcel. This is a plat showing the buildable envelope. It's a little different than the plat that was included. There are two plats in the package, you may have noticed. There was another plat created after this in the package, where there was a little bit of property that did boundary line adjustment on the southern boundary to add, I believe, 20 feet maybe. 10 feet. And that was to allow more buildable room for this parcel, I believe, because the buildable areas are so small on these parcels, and that was, that did occur. So the buildable area is slightly larger, in which it would be 10 feet further on the southern side of the envelope. The code requires 125 feet from the public road, Beaver Dam Road, from the edge of right of way, and then it requires 100 feet from the private road. That Ridgeway Farm Drive, Court, sorry. And there's not a variance request for that. That's it's for the public roads where the variance is being requested. And for the side property yard on the southern side property boundary, seeking a variance of 30 feet along this boundary on the south side. Mr. Knuckles purchased the property in 2021. It's already been divided at the time, and he's held on to the lot the entire time. It was his intention originally to build a house there, and he never did. And the property, he'd like to sell the property now. His wife has recently passed, and he would like to sell the property. He's had a couple people interested, and they're unable to locate a house on the building envelope because of its limitation in size. Let's see now.
So the variance is not on the main road though.
It is for the main road. Yes, sir. It's off of Beaver Dam Road.
Okay.
Seeking a 75-foot variance off of Beaver Dam Road. And then a 30-foot variance off of
On that.
Ridgeway, off of this property line in the back, right? So no variance off of Ridgeway Farm Court to the west, just off of Beaver Dam Road. And the pond further limits the use of the property as well.
Okay.
So you've got a 3.5 acre lot with a 1/4 acre maybe of buildable space. And it's not unique to the county. We have corner lots, but in this particular one, with the way the private road curves around, was really further limited the buildable area, this lot.
So is that home is that your home? That's,
No, so my home is across from the cul-de-sac,
gotcha.
and we got old houses almost 200 years old that we remodeled. And that's the reason we never built on that one. The home that's there, is a neighbor actually just sold and got new people moving in, but that's down the bottom part. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, the one
Yes, sir.
that's near the southern line.
Yeah.
Our property, with the line you're seeing here are derived from our GIS, and they're not survey accurate, as you can tell from that's the actual shape of the property. You can see our GIS doesn't quite have it right. I submitted this for an update, but it hasn't happened yet. So seeking the 75-foot setback from Beaver Dam Road, and he's seeking a 30-foot variance from the southern property line.
Would the changes in this variation have any detrimental effect on the public using those roads?
It shouldn't, I'm sorry I didn't get any pictures of the property, but there's a pretty substantial slope here all up from Beaver Dam Road, so shouldn't affect any site distances or anything. The only potential effect it may have would be allowing a house to be slightly closer to this house if the variance were allowed on the southern property line.
The setback requirements on this particular parcel. So it was platted originally in 2001.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and
What was the setback ordinance requirements at the time that it was platted in?
it was 125 feet. Yeah, it showed up on the applicant submitted a plat that had showed that a little differently. Should pull that up real quick here. Oops. So this is sorry about that. So that was the original plat, or this is the plat that the applicant submitted. This includes the 10-foot boundary line adjustment that happened after the parcel was originally platted. But they identified this as a 100-foot setback on this, and this was wrong. It was 125 feet when the parcel was created originally.
So the survey was in error? Or just the
no,
plat
just-
was
The only thing that's in error is the identification and setback
Was
line.
incorrect.
It's incorrect. It should have been identified as 125 feet. So it appears to have a larger building envelope than really exists. There should have been another 25 feet on the northern side of that line.
So if that were accurately, is there a building envelope window at all?
Yeah, there's a small one,
Okay,
this plus 10 feet, so 10 feet additional along the bottom here. I measured it out, it was about a quarter of an acre maybe overall, but you can see the shape of it.
right.
Literally, the building envelope to where you could site a house is right here, just this little section here. And you could squeeze a house in there, it would be right up on the lines, for the most part. Um,
2 foot wide and 20 foot tall.
so we've got the five, considerations when granting a variance, and this appears to meet all of those conditions. So, won't cause any problem to the adjacent property. There's no ordinance proposed that will affect this. It's not of such a recurring nature, although we do have corner lots. And that does affect other lots, but this one is a little different just because of the shape of the lot and the way the private road curves around on the southern side. And the property was acquired in good faith as well. So the conditions existed when Mr. Knuckles purchased.
So there's topography limitations on the south end of the property?
Yes, on the south and on the west, there's a pond on the,
Yeah, do the topography limitations encroach on the buildable area?
no, not really. It's an open field, from what I saw.
But it's not that steep.
It's not that steep. Once you get up off of Beaver Dam Road, it's fairly flat and slopes down towards the pond,
So
as
I
I
think the
recall.
topography limitations aren't to the south, they're to the north.
Yeah, they'll be to the north because it's slope, but really once you,
Sorry.
once you get up onto the parcel, it's flat. Get the sloping to the west.
Are you gonna ask for that to be on the record? Where I went to college?
No.
It's personal. Where I'm driving against it in your time.
All right, that's all I have for the presentation.
Anybody on the board have any other questions?
Now, you all obviously feel that this is worth doing.
Yes, sir.
That's on your recommendation, you thought it was.
Yes, you will have the option to change those setbacks, or those not setbacks, but the requested amount. Can lessen those if you feel they're too much, or impose any other conditions as well. Is that correct, Dan? So he's asking for 30 feet. If they wanted to allow 20 on the south side.
Sure.
It's less restricted.
Sure.
Yeah.
They could get less restricted, yeah, than what was advertised. They couldn't get more restricted than what was advertised. And all surrounding property owners received notice.
Well, they did.
Okay.
I didn't include that in the back, did I?
I was just confirming, just to make sure the neighbor received notice.
Like to say, my opinion is we should approve it, but I think the board members need to make their feelings known.
We just need to open the public hearing first.
Oh, sorry. Do we have public hearing?
We still have to open the public hearing. It's just a requirement.
Yes, if you open that to the public, Wayne?
Yeah, when I bought it, y'all tell me something I didn't know when I first bought it. That's kind of what surprised me when we were gonna sell it, and I thought it was plenty of space to put a house. And the variance that I was told when I bought it was 100 feet from the road, not 125 feet. So that, right now, I just learned something tonight that I did not know. I know when I was in this, I thought they had plenty of space up there to put a house until, we had a contract on it, lady takes the buildings up, not enough space. I couldn't figure out why, y'all just told me just now why.
Well, that was part of my reasoning for asking that question as to what limitations you felt like you were under at the time you bought it.
I thought I was gonna have, what we were when we bought the house, we bought about 15, we bought half of the subdivision. Took the old farmhouse and literally ripped out floors, walls and everything and redid it. And I could have built a brand new house for that, but my wife, when she was alive, yeah, Harold knows, it had to be just so. So we got the house we were living in, the way she wanted, and then we were gonna go ahead and build about a 3,600 square foot house up on a hill. And it never got to that point. My wife fell in love with the older house and we, kept it and, it just, within the last few months. Put this lot up there and until y'all told me tonight about the grandstand, I know what the problem was, there wasn't enough room up there. Even if I wanted to build a house, I could not have done it myself.
No more comments, and I'll close the meeting to the public. Anybody else have a question or anything before we vote? Do I hear a motion?
Read this thing.
Yeah.
So I
didn't say anything.
figured y'all out. I move to approve BZA 2402, a request for a 75-foot variance to section 22-4-3E2 to allow for the reduction of the minimum front setback from 125 feet to 50 feet. And a request for a 30-foot variance to section 22-4-3F to allow for the reduction of the minimum side yard from 50 feet to 20 feet with respect to 3.4 acres of tax map 3, section 30, parcel 6. Second.
All in favor?
I
Okay, that's it.
would imagine if they're building the house the way the wife wanted it, kept improving their biscuit and sausage every morning.
When did we do it again?
We just need a motion to adjourn. There'll be
Sir?
just a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Thanks sure you do.
You don't have to have a second, but
That's what I thought, yeah.
is all in favor?
Question for the staff, do we have anything facing us? Or shall we see you in 6 months?
I believe we do.
In January.
Next month, I believe we're going to have, if they get it in on time, an application for, there's a conservation easement, nature preserve, tadpole conservation. It's on Courthouse Road here.
Yeah.
Was originally, there was gonna be a
Yeah.
big rural cluster that fell through and it's been turned into this nature conservancy and they want to put some trails on there and have a access road with a loop parking. And our requirement is that the access road parking had be 200 feet off the road because it's based on the frontage of the road. It's excessive. It gets up onto the hill and then they would have, if we follow the actual numbers, then you'd have to do a lot of fill in the back in order to support the loop. And we think that the applicant thinks that that's excessive and it doesn't meet the spirit of our ordinance and maintaining the natural preserve. So they're gonna request a slight reduction on that, so it doesn't go back into when the property slopes down.
Okay.
And that will be coming either next month or in December.
All right. Anything else? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.